Senator Obama told us why he thinks he won in South Carolina. Next, we head to our bloggers to see if they agree. Left versus right, John versus Jim. Gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. Barack Obama's landslide win in South Carolina has bloggers on the left and right buzzing today. How much did race play a role in the race? On the left, John Aravosis from AMERICAblog.com. John, good to see you. And on the right, Jim Garrity from National Review Online. Jim, good to see you. John, I'm going to start with you.
Good to be here.
I got a bone to pick with you today. Bill Clinton gets slammed, and I know you slammed him. I know you did. For his efforts to challenge Obama, correct a perceived slight to his record, and defend his wife, and he is criticized for playing the race card. What did he do in South Carolina that was so bad?
Well, it depends. I mean, I think the problem, first of all, it depends who you talk to, which I think is interesting. Okay? I've had a problem with how Bill Clinton has handled things the last couple of weeks because he's kind of gotten aggressive and I think a little mean. Having said that, I talked to some folks, some friends of mine who support Clinton who think Bill's been totally appropriate and Obama's the one who's, whining. So I don't know. There have been a number of incidents with the Clinton campaign where race keeps kind of coming up. For example, today Bill Clinton brings up that, hey, Jesse Jackson didn't won South Carolina twice and he still didn't become president. Well, John Edwards won South Carolina too previously and didn't become president.
That's right.
Why didn't you bring up that example? No, you had to bring up the example of the black man that a lot of white people don't like. And it's subtle, but look, I'm not somebody who finds, racists behind every corner. It's not exactly my pet issue, but it's been rubbing me the wrong way.
See, here's the thing. Jim would be honest enough to say, you know what, I'm just sick and tired of the Clintons, and I wish they would just disappear and go away. Right. Am I right about that, Jim? It seems like that many on the other side are just trying to come up with these issues instead of saying, you know what, I'm just sick of you, and I really wish the Clintons would just go away.
Look, Hillary Clinton is probably the better choice for the party that I prefer, the Republican Party. She's much more vulnerable to the general election. Barack Obama's probably better for the country as a whole. It's a very odd case. I have nothing to disagree with what John just said.
Yeah.
I find it's really striking that, again, of all the people he could make the comparison to, it's Jesse Jackson.
Right.
Is there no one else who's ever lost South Carolina on the Democratic side and not gone on to get the nomination?
And it's happened repeatedly. That's the problem. There have been a number of times where either these black, what was the slavery reference about chucking and jiving?
From a surrogate,
Well, I mean, and it's funny, Jim and I were talking before the show started. It reminds me a lot of what's going on with Romney and McCain as well, in the sense of McCain may be lying about Romney's foreign policy record, but it makes Romney discuss foreign policy by saying, you're lying about my foreign policy record.
It puts him on turf where he's not as strong?
Well, it puts you on the turf you didn't want to get on, which is Obama doesn't want to talk about how I'm a black man running for president, I'm a black man running for president. No, he's a smart man running for president. But to the degree he has to say, Hillary, stop trying to play the race card, you're now talking about race.
Absolutely. All right, let's listen to Barack Obama, a bit of the victory speech last night, and then I've got a question.
The choice in this election is not between regions or religions or genders. It's not about rich versus poor, young versus old, and it is not about black versus white. This election is about the past versus the future.
All right, Jim, let me start with you on this one. How do you compete with that? I mean, you're a competitor in this race. Sure. That's a guy you have to beat. You've got to bring him down, but to do that, you run the risk of being the guy who kills the dream, kills the hope, and kills the aspirations of a nation.
This guy is being touted as the second coming of Martin Luther King Jr., and I remember having a conversation with Howard Kurtz on this topic and saying, you write the expose that takes down this lovely figure. You write the expose that trashes his reputation. No, it's one of the things you can go negative on Obama, but you have to be very careful about the way that you do it. And it's a question of can you see this man handling a crisis? Can you see this man at a moment when everything is going terribly wrong for the country and decisions have to be made in an instant, That's where you get into the age and the experience issues.
John,
you certainly don't do anything race-related by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, John, jump in here, because, you know, look, I'm a competitor. I'm in this to win this, and I believe my experience bests this man.
Right.
And how do I make that case without being, you know, pilloried here?
I'm not going to tell you how you make the case, because I'd like our guy to win. But that is a very good point, because I think to some degree this is the problem the Clintons or Hillary is facing in this race. Is it's hard to take on Obama when black references come up and then nobody knows, were you trying to do the black thing, or did you just happen to mention a black guy that you brought up in the conversation, and you're stepping on thin ice or whatever it is that you got to be careful here. And that's the same problem the Republicans will have with Obama. The people don't feel like they're playing the race card.
And just one quick question, Florida coming up on Tuesday. Jim, give me your thoughts on it.
Sure. We're about to see whether Rudy's very drastically different strategy can work. He missed most of the previous early primaries and caucuses. It's not working great for him. I think the thing we've seen in every single race, and this even also applies to the Democrats too, in the last couple of days, you see the voters congregate between the top two guys. Whoever's in third place tends to drop down in the last couple of days. And unfortunately, right now for Rudy, that's him. It's a possibility. It's not out of the possibility he gets 1% more than the other guys do if there's a big surge from his at the end. But right now it's not looking great for him. And while he says he'll continue on past Florida, if he can't win Florida, he's going to have a tough time winning additional states.
Hey, Jimmy, you won't mind if I give the guy on the right the last word on the Republican primary in Florida. Great to see you both, Jim, John. See you next time. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.